Hello fellow human, hope you guys have a fantastic day and let's read some r/idontworkherelady stories. To the first one. We took the kids to the zoo today and walked by the otter exhibit twice. The first time the otters were back in their den area and we didn't see them. The next time we walked by, the three otters were outside. I was so excited to see them. I shouted, "Otters!" and rushed over there. The otters were also apparently excited to see me. They started vocalizing more, and all three ran up to the edge of their area towards me, chattering away. It was really exciting and felt like they were legit happy to see just me. When we were leaving the zoo, an employee asked my kids what animal they liked seeing the most. My kids didn't really respond, so I did, and I told them about the otters. She said she really liked them too, that they were really friendly, and whenever they saw a zoo worker, they would rush over begging for food. Looking down, it appears I accidentally dressed like a zoo worker, with khaki pants and a navy shirt. Today I learned a zoo hack. Dress like the workers and get more attention from the animals. The second story. Yes, I speak Spanish, but I'm a tourist just like you. So this happened a few years ago, long before this pandemic started. For context, I'm Mexican. I was fresh out of college and decided I wanted to go on vacations on New York because I really wanted to see the Broadway musical. I convinced my mom to go with me because I didn't want to go alone and my friends don't have that kind of money. She didn't want to at first because she had some very bad opinions about Americans, which thankfully changed after our trip. And she also doesn't speak English very well. Thankfully for her, our second day in New York, we were looking for a place to have breakfast and entered a restaurant? I don't know if that's the name. They served pancakes, sandwiches, and cheesecakes, and also have some fruits and sodas to buy. Anyways, the place actually had only Mexican employees, so my mom didn't have to rely on me to order for her, which she appreciated. So from then on, we had all of our meals there. The place didn't have any waiters though, so you had to order and then go pick your food when they called for your turn and bring it back to your table by yourself. It was during our second day in New York that we ordered some sandwiches and, when our turn was called, my mom asked me to go get our food. However, when I came back with it, she asked me if I could also bring her another bottle of water, as she had already finished hers. She gave me money and I went to buy her another bottle. I had arrived to the fridge and was about to open it when someone said in Spanish, "Excuse me." She had a weird accent that I had never heard before, so definitely not from Mexico. I quickly grabbed the bottle and turned to look at whoever had spoken, thinking that they wanted to use the fridge. I was met with an old lady wearing a shirt and shorts with sunglasses on and a camera hanging from her neck by a cord. Yep, definitely a tourist like myself. "Are you going to use the fridge?" I asked, also in Spanish. "No, I wanted to know why our food hasn't arrived yet. We ordered almost half an hour ago." To her credit, she wasn't rude about it, mostly annoyed, which I understand. "Oh no, you have to go pick up the food by yourself," I explained. "See the ticket they give you? It has a number, and when it matches the number in the sign above the counter, it means your food is ready." "But you brought food to that woman," she said confusedly, pointing to my mom. "Yeah, that's my mom. I don't work here." "But you're Mexican." She seemed to still be trying to make sense of the situation. She probably inferred I was Mexican because of my skin color and because I had the same accent as the employees. "Yes, but I'm a tourist just like you," I kept trying to explain. I live with three elderly people, so I know sometimes it takes them a while to understand something that goes against what they had at first believed to be the truth. Eventually, she seemed to process my word and apologized profusely before going to pick her food. She, her husband, and their grandson then went to sit next to my mom and I. This wasn't uncommon as the tables were rather large and the place was crowded. And we spent a good time talking about our experiences in New York as well as our own countries. Turns out they were from Colombia. Eventually, it was the time for us to go to the musical, so we said goodbye to them and headed towards the Broadway. That was the first and also the last time to date at least that I have been confused as an employee when I'm actually not. And thankfully, it was a positive experience. Well, that was wholesome. Good on you to understand people in their cognitive decline might need some extra time to process, but glad she let it sink in too. The third story. Dad just wanted clean plates. To preface this story, my dad is in his 60s, grew up in a small town, in a small country, in an orphanage. So, if his worldviews come up a bit off in the story, it's because they are more than a bit off. But here it goes. Dad's birthday had come around and he chose a Chinese buffet for the family birthday dinner. So myself, two stepsisters, stepbrother, brother, stepmother, step-grandparents, and two other couples all headed to a small backstreet Chinese all-you-can-eat. The sort of place where they just dish the food out in bulk in a central area in the restaurant and you top your plate up as you wish. Unlike most buffet places we have been to, this one didn't have the stack of fresh clean plates. And an elderly Chinese gentleman did the occasional lap of the tables, swapped dirty empty plates for clean plates, went back to the corner, sat on a chair across his arms, and closed his eyes for 10 minutes before doing another lap. This is where the problem began. It had been a while since new plates had been delivered, and for most of us, it wasn't a problem. We just kept on using the same plates. However, Dad decided he wanted a fresh plate as his was covered in one flavor sauce he didn't want any more of. He took a look at the sleeping gentleman in the corner, decided against waking him up, and grabbed the next passing Asian gentleman to walk past by the arm. The conversation went as follows. Dad: "Hey mate, can we grab some fresh plates?" Asian man: "AM, oh no," waving his hands in front of him. Dad: "What do you mean no? I just need a clean plate." AM: no sorry." Dad: "Oh, no need to be sorry mate, I just want an extra plate." Sister 1: "Dad, I don't think..." Dad: "It's alright, I've got this. Can we please have some fresh plates?" Asian man: but no." The poor man is now flustered as not only he cannot get his message across due to the language barrier, he also cannot get a word in over my father's urgency for a clean plate. Dad: "Just grab us some bloody plates, it's not that hard." AM: I'm like you." Dad: "No, you're bloody aren't." Asian man: "Yes, like you." Dad: "Oh, if you were like me, mate, you get your job done and grab us some plates." By this point, several of us had picked up what the Asian man was putting down, but either couldn't get a word in or chose to sit back and let my dad make an idiot of himself. Finally, the poor man had managed to shout over my dad, "I'm a customer!" This had the entire table stitches as Dad meekly apologized and told him he thought he worked there and turned to us and asked why nobody had pointed that out. The man smiled, waved at us, and proceeded to head to his table, where I'm sure he had a great time explaining to his wife why he couldn't get back to the table earlier. The icing on the cake was Dad finding a young Asian girl walking past, stating, "I'll ask her," as if he'd solved the problem, as my stepmother shouted over him, "Sit down, she's got a plate of lemon chicken." Turns out my dad's real name might be Karen. Aw, poor man just trying to get to his table. Your dad is truly a Karen. The fourth story. I'm not security. I used to be a law enforcement officer on an Indian reservation. The tribe has a casino where an incident had taken place earlier or the day before. It's been a couple of years, so I can't really remember. I didn't work at the casino and was almost never there. Either way, I went to the casino to do a follow-up. I'm all done and walking to my patrol unit, parked in the front when I hear, "Security!" Now for context. It's totally reasonable to be mistaken for security, but this will factor in later. Casino security wears blue and drive little golf carts. I'm wearing a full kit, jet black tactical uniform. My unit was a Silverado with full police package, huge badge on the side, protect and serve, dial 911, all the bells and whistles. So I turn because maybe someone is in trouble. This lady, about 40, with that smug appearance is there, looking very frustrated. So the conversation begins. Me equals to me, CL equals to crazy lady, and SS equals to security supervisor will enter stage left later. CL: "Finally, I dropped my keys in the fountain. Call your maintenance to get them." Me: "Oh, well, I'm not a security, but I will go grab an employee for you." CL: "No, you are a security guard. Use your little walkie-talkie to call someone." Me: "No, I'm officer ... of the tribal enforcement, but I'll grab someone." CL: "Just use your radio." Me: It doesn't go to them. It goes to a 911 dispatch center." This continues for a few circles. A security guard comes by, notices her loud toned. She looks at him. CL: "Yeah, Call your supervisor. This one, pointing at me, isn't doing his job. SS. Ma'am, I'm the supervisor and he's not a security guard, he's a cop. CL. Oh, you too? Loud screaming ran with many expletives calling us lazy. This has drawn a crowd. I figured the best course is to let her scream until she is tired. SS. Ma'am, you can't act like this here. You need to leave. She rants about the keys in a fountain and how we won't help her. SS called maintenance. They get the keys out in no time. She starts ranting again and calling us lazy ducks. She wants to talk to the casino manager, and I cut in. Me. Hey, my turn to talk. You listen. Look at me. Look at the security guards. See the difference? I'm not security. I'm law enforcement. Do you understand this? Do you properly grasp who I am? Sia. Yeah, I got it. She has this face like her stroke ended, and she was learning numbers for the first time. Me. Good. You understand that they have asked you to leave? CL. Yeah, but... Me. No, stop talking. You get it. Now you have two options. You take your keys, get in your car, and go home, or I arrest you for criminal trespassing. I've tried to be polite, but enough is enough. Make your decision now, not another word. She turns with a huff and goes to her car. I try to fathom the stupidity to this day. I laugh with a security guy for a sec, and then go to my next call. Oh man, when they try to correct you, you argue with them. How much of a moron do you have to be? On to the fifth story. No, I'm not staff, and no, you can't crash my dad's wedding. About a year ago, my dad was getting married. As it was his second wedding, he did not want it to be a huge event, and neither did his fiancée. Thus, they decided to have their wedding with just 17 guests at the bookstore where they met. Aw, it was so cute, I wanted to throw up. He asked me and my sister to guide the other guests to the room where the ceremony would be held since we were there early to set up. The bookstore was something of a maze, as bookstores often are. My dad's wedding was being held on the second floor. So my sister and I were stationed at various places on the first floor leading to the stairs, which were hidden in a little corner in the back. My sister and I were dressed up, but not wearing name tags or aprons like the people who actually worked at the bookstores. That did not stop a parade of people stopping by and asking where to find certain books. I don't know what it was about my appearance in particular, but most customers came to me instead of my sisters. I get that I was standing in a particular spot and that I could have looked like I was there to answer questions, but the staff were busy shelving books, dusting, making coffee, and generally being busy. So, I could have been a pretty lousy staff member just standing around like that. One customer in particular approached me and asked if I knew where the painting that used to hang in the store was now. I answered that I did not work here and was simply guiding the guests to the room where my dad's wedding was to be held. The man looked incredulous and asked me several more questions about the painting, including who the artist was, what the medium was, the size of the painting, and what the subject was. After I answered that I did not know any of those things, and he was satisfied that I did not in fact work at the bookstore. He then proceeded to say how much he loved the weddings, no matter who he was getting married. He asked where the wedding was being held and if he could go to take a peek. I answered that that would be really weird, given that it's a private ceremony and my dad would probably appreciate it if he didn't. He laughed it off and said, "Oh, well, I will come by and crash the wedding later. I just love weddings so much." I practically begged him to not crash my dad's wedding, even to just watch, because there were so few guests that it would just be painfully awkward to have some random man smiling in the back. After a few moments of us going back and forth, and him promising he'd be there whether we liked it or not, he finally agreed to leave the wedding alone. He stayed for a suspiciously long time in the bookstore, watching all the guests come in. He smiled ridiculously as my now stepmother walked in with her dress and headed upstairs, provoking her to ask me and my sister, "Who was that creepy smiling guy standing around watching the entourage?" We responded, "He's just some guy who really likes wedding and asked if he could crash yours." To our great relief, he did not show up at the ceremony. But the whole time, I was worried about it. "Sorry for being distracted during your wedding, Dad." "What do you mean you just love weddings? You mean love ruining weddings? 'Cause that's what you're trying to do." What a weirdo. On to the sixth story. Miss Mayer chases me down to ask about my former workplace. I used to work at a Sonic in a very small southern town. I worked there for about 3 years and was a manager for about a year before leaving. Last time I worked there was in 2015, almost 4 years ago. That is pretty important to remember. Since it's a small town, I usually just walk anywhere I need to go, and on this particular day, last week, I decided to walk to the store and get some ice cream. So, I popped my headphones and hoodie on and started walking. I get to the street where the store is, about 4 blocks away from where I live, and right before I get to the incline going up the back of the store lot, I hear someone calling out over my music. They weren't calling my name, just a general, "Hey!" to get my attention. So I turn to see if this shouted is directed at me, and sure enough, comes the EB sprinting down the street at me. Now, unfortunately, I do not know this woman. She owns a laundromat connected to the store and her husband is a mayor, but she is quite a bit older than me, and I really only knew her because of her husband. I call her Miss Mayor in my head because she acts like she was the one voted in sometimes. The conversation follows. Miss Mayor: "Ow, good I caught you. I have a question for you." Me: sure, what do you need?" Here Miss Mayor stands up straight and leans into me really close, getting up to my face. "Why can't I get my goddamn milkshake on time?" She's literally screaming in my face, and I take a step back because I'm not comfortable with physical contact and being screamed down. Me: Jesus Christ. First of all, back up. Second, never scream in my face again. And third, what the duck are you talking about? Huffing and puffing in either indignation or out of breath from literally running me down. "The Sonic! I waited 10 minutes for my shake." Me: clearly annoyed. "Lady, I haven't worked at Sonic for almost 4 years. If you have a complaint, take it up with the store." I think this is the end. I'm stupid. I turn to leave and I hear this loud scream sign behind me. I'm not done yet. Your employees gave me the crappiest servers and I demand an explanation." Me? I don't work there. At this point, our screaming match is of course drawing the attention of the local busybodies and one person in particular. The mayor himself steps out on his porch and yells out, "What are you doing?" to his wife. Nut. As soon as he sees me, he gets this look on his face that is about 1,000,000 times just done and goes, "Oh god damn it, woman, I told you that girl don't work there no more," in all the deep southern drawl glory you can imagine. Miss Mayor starts hemming and hawing, and I managed to piece together that this lady had some bad service at the Sonic I used to work at, and for some reason was blaming me all night to her husband, who told her multiple times that I didn't work there, but couldn't get it through her thick head. I stood for a second as Mayor came to collect his wife before flashing a peace sign and drifting away to get my ice cream. I'm almost entirely sure that there was more behind this than just bad food service. Small town politics. Ugh. And people here will jump on your butt for any little thing. Even if your cousin's girlfriend, brother did it, somehow it affects the entire family. Wonder who in my immediate or non-immediate family pissed in her Cheerios. Well, that's small town charm for you. That's it for today, fellow humans. Thanks for watching. Be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. See you guys next time.